World Series champ Jack Flaherty joining us right now on Foul Territories back. Jack, great to see you, man.
Wait, was he tweeting right then?
Could be.
Get it out of his hand! Take it from him! Yes.
Hey,
Oh man.
you got a little
No, I was
tension the
watching
other day, Jack.
a clip.
Wait, we lost you for a sec. What'd you say?
I was watching a clip on slug ball. I was trying to see what this is, what's going on.
Yeah, Ruben Amaro's behind
Yeah, I
that.
saw that
He's,
clip.
he's part
I
of
was on
our group.
Instagram the other day, and I saw that.
Yeah.
I have no idea what it is. It looked like a bunch of softball players hitting home runs, and then I don't know. Maybe
Ruben's part of it, so we'll get him on. Ruben's hosts our Philly show, so we'll ask him and we'll report back. But how you been, man? You fighting through it? Because you had a pretty damn good year and you won a World Series.
I'm doing, you know what? I'm doing good. I'm hanging out. Just working and trying to get ready for next year wherever I end up. Um, just been grinding away as if all things are normal, which they definitely aren't, but just been grinding away trying to get ready.
what is it? What's not normal? I mean, you pitched great last year. You were traded. You won you started game one of the World Series for the team that won the World Series. You were healthy. You had an
Yeah.
unbelievable year. What's not normal? I don't understand how. I brought you up how many times? I'm like, where the hell
80.
are the Jack Flaherty rumors? Why have I heard nothing? I just don't understand. Like, you should have been on the top of the list for 20 teams.
You would hope so after it was kind of okay in 23. I got to prove that I'm healthy, and in 24 I got to go out and actually be healthy and good again, because I struggled in 23. Like there's no hiding behind it. It wasn't very good. And you go into the off season with a hope of hopefully getting off the board quickly and whatnot. And now we're sitting here on January 23rd with no rumblings, nothing really going on, just waiting, and all the other top guys are gone, and we waited for Sasaki, and yeah, it's not normal in the fact that I don't know where I'm going to go play, don't know where I'm going to spring training. Everything else is, but in terms of why, I wish I had a really good answer for you. Um, it's I don't know. I wish I had a better answer other than I don't know what's making this so difficult.
You said not really. So I need 100% confirmation that no team has called and been like, hey, what are you up to? Like, they're just
I,
crickets. They're like, they don't even know you
it
exist.
it's like, what are you up to? And it's like, are we gonna have a conversation about figuring out a deal, or are you just gonna ask, what am I up to? Like, is like, again, it's just like, oh, and it's like, well, when is the market gonna move? And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Like, when is the market gonna move? It's just like, all you just have to make an offer, and then it'll go. But just calling and checking in, being like, oh, how's it going? How are you feeling? I'm like, I feel great. I'm just trying to figure out where we're gonna play next year. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's
Do you feel like
weird. It's a
teams
weird.
don't? Do you feel like teams don't want to win? Do you feel like they're more work because of what you did? Because of what you did last year, not only did you prove that you can help a team win, but you won. You helped a team make to the playoffs, and then you helped another team in the playoffs in the World Series. You are clearly a winner. You grew up in a winning organization. To me, winning is just all around you. You're not even 30 yet. Do you feel like teams don't want to win bad enough, as bad as players want to win?
I think teams want to win. I think this crazy part. I'm 29. I'm gonna be 29 this whole season. It's not like I'm an older guy in free agency, and it's my second go around. I'm gonna be 29 the whole year. Just turned 29 in October, and it's not that I don't think teams want to win. I think you have just a certain number of teams that want to win, and they look at their rosters, and they're happy with it. So when you have a lot of the league kind of just like, well, we're okay. And you've got the White Sox trading away Crochet, who's one of their only pieces that they have, to the Red Sox, and like all like kudos to the Red Sox for going and getting him. Um, that takes a spot away from where I could have potentially gone. They go out and get an ace and a stud and Crochet from a team that has, we're not sure what's going on there. They just set the record for losses, and then they now get rid of more players. Um, so I think teams want to win, but I also think teams just want to get into the playoffs. Maybe it's not World Series or bust, or it's just hope we can get into the playoffs and then kind of see what happens. And so I don't know. It was a good year last year. It was a good run. Some starts in the postseason were good, some weren't. It's just kind of the way that it goes. But I'm gonna go out there and throw until it's time to take the ball out of my hands. And as of right now, we're waiting. I'm not I just want to play ball.
Jack, you're going to play ball. Well, I got to ask you. You brought up 23 and how it went, and then you went to 24. What was the difference? I want to know what the difference was in 23 and 24, because I remember you being super hyped as a Cardinals guy, and then you obviously go to Baltimore, things don't work out, but then you go to Detroit and you had an unbelievable start. You go to LA, continue that. So what was the difference between 23 to 24 and where you're at now?
Well, I think even in 23 in St. Louis, it was a little bit kind of the first change that we've had there in terms of, Yachty had been there forever, and I came up with him and Matt Wieters and was able to throw to them a bunch, and it was a first time changing catchers, and there was some ups and downs, and I came on here last year to defend Wilson and the comments that I made after a game, because he truly was awesome and really did work while he was there. And then it was the first time, I changed organizations and try to change a few things, and working with a new catcher, new system, and all these things, and it just sometimes didn't go well. So it's continuity is a great thing, and then I switched some things in my off season. I moved out of LA, kind of went and revamped a couple things, revamped my mind, revamped the way I was moving, and then go to Detroit, and they do a really, really good job there with Feder and Robin Lund and AJ. Like, they're all awesome there, and it's shown, like, Scooblin's a Cy Young. That dude's a stud, and he's so much fun to be around as well. And then was just able kind of to carry that over into LA, but you could see there was still, you know, and I think it just, for me, having been traded at the deadline, and guy who just got put in the Hall of Fame, what CC Sabathia was able to do when he got traded, and he got traded a little bit earlier, but was he able to do switching teams in the middle of a season? You could see there was a little bit of a change going from what I did in Detroit to LA, and there was some up and down, and you're trying to get on board with your catcher. You're trying to, figure some things out on the fly in the middle of a playoff run, and it's not always the easiest thing to do. But I think I was just able to mentally reset, physically get my body in better places to carry it on throughout the year, and just trust my stuff. And when you got two teams that trust you to send you out there and give you the ball, and in big situations and big games, and AJ left me out there in certain games when pitch count got up there. Sometimes it didn't work out. I could remember, you know, Dalton Varsho got me on hit a home run off me in the seventh inning, and he had to come out and get me afterwards, and we lost the lead. And Doc gave me some games where the pitch count ran up and we went a little bit deeper, giving me the ball in game one and game five, and both times in game five I didn't pitch well, and but in the World Series the boys were able to pick me up, and we won that game. It was, yeah.
The Tigers win the American League if you're still on the Tigers. I know it's ifs and buts and all that stuff.
I wanted to stay in Detroit. We had conversations, and I loved it there, and I thought the combo of me and Scoob was incredible. And then you saw what they did, the run that they went on, even after I got traded, and they brought all those young guys up. Um, I think, we I mean, they got to. It's hard to say. I mean, they get to at least you get to Game 5 with Cleveland, and they got Scoob on the mound, and Lane Thomas puts one swing, and that's how the playoffs go. Um, is as crazy as it is. Do I think we win that series? Probably. We probably win that series and face the Yankees in the ALCS, which is crazy to think about. Um, so we win that series. I don't know. But I think we get there. I think at least we get there. But it's things like that, but they get some prospects in return who, ended up doing a good job for them and have been great. And um, it's it was fun to watch what they did. And we've been talking to them and talking to other teams and just like, hey, it'd be fun to go back there.
How about the other team that you almost got traded to? The Yankees. Two parts for me. Do you think it's fair that it was put out there that they failed your medicals? And do you think it's fair that if you were on the Yankees, now all of a sudden, what would you have done to your Dodger boys in the World Series?
I'm gonna tread carefully on the if it was fair. Um, I mean, when it came out, it was just like it was. They were still trying to trade for me as it was going on, so they dropped that after the trade, and then but they had still been trying to up to the deadline to make just a different trade. Like we don't love the medicals, but they were still trying to make a trade, and I was like, okay, whatever. I'm in LA now. I'm not worried about it. And then ending up against them in the World Series was kind of a full circle thing. But if I'm there, do we? I don't know. It would have been fun playing against the Dodgers and going against them and being on the other side. I'm happy with the way that things turned out. And it was crazy with just the injuries that happened in LA with Glass going down and Stoney going down and Yamamoto missing some time and Kirsch not being able to come back. Um, I was just fortunate enough just to stay healthy and take the ball when I was asked. Yama gave that huge Game 5 start against San Diego. He was incredible, and I was lucky. I was lucky enough in Game 1 to go out and give him a good start, and Game 1 of the World Series go out and give him a good start. So, are things different? Maybe, and if you look at it in terms of what happens on the LA side, if that trade doesn't happen, if it's like, would they have gotten somebody else to fill those starts, or what would it have looked like? That's the interesting part. But I'm happy with the way it worked out. We won. Got to win in the hometown. Can't complain about it.
Did you call, speaking of your hometown, did you call your boy Max Fried and say, listen, man, they failed me, bro. Be careful when you sign with the Yankees for all that money. You never know. Like, they might fail you after they sign you.
No.
Carlos Correa style.
I went over to Max's house, gave him a big hug. Right when I could. He was with some family, and that night I went over to his house, gave him a big hug, and just talked to him, and couldn't have been happier for him. So they got an unbelievable guy. He's a stud. He's been a stud this whole time in the league, and you love seeing guys get paid. No matter who it is, you love seeing guys get paid. What they're worth, and especially with how long and how good you have to be in baseball just to get to free agency, and just to see guys like get what they're worth. And I mean, I don't know. There's been not very many long-term deals given out this year. You obviously, you've got Soto, you've got Max, you've got Burns, Blake, Willie, but everything else has been pretty short. So I was stoked for Max. I could care less about what happened and whatnot. They got a good one, and I hope he goes there and thrives.
Nice. I love hearing that. So then this leads into our next question. You just mentioned that a lot of teams aren't given long-term deals. Do we need a floor? Do we need a salary floor in baseball? Because the problem is I always say is if you go floor, then the owners are going to want a cap, and that's going to lead to a huge fight between the owners and the players. So I don't know how you have a cap and not have a floor, or vice versa. So It's a slippery slope, right?
There's a soft cap.
There is already a soft cap in the luxury tax. And I'm not a part of the PA anymore. I was in it for a while, and I'm not on the executive committee anymore. So I don't want to you don't want to cap, you don't want a hard cap, because the way that owners are operating and maneuvering right now, it's that's a weird situation. I don't know that you need a floor. You just need teams to want to, like, to win. And the team that just won the World Series, and this was like the basis of the tweet, was the team that just won the World Series has made the most additions. And how everybody, it's like, oh, they just defer money, they just do this and that. I was like, well, yeah, I mean, people want to go play in LA, they want to win. People want to play in Philly, that's an unbelievable place to go play and win. It's not that the only place that you can go and win. Like, yeah, you want to go play with Shohei, you want to play with Mookie, you want to play with Freddie. Those guys are awesome. You want to be around Kirsch, like, those guys were incredible. I was lucky enough to spend 3 months with them and win the World Series. But there's other places to go that are Max is going to New York, Yankees, unbelievable. Walker is going to Boston, unbelievable place to go and win. Houston, Philly, like like there's places to go that have won and are consistently in the playoffs and are consistently right there with the chance to win. And then there's everybody else that is kind of just sitting in limbo. And well, we're cutting payroll here, but adding here, you know, and then, like, but we're not really going to we're not doing anything else. But the team that just won the World Series has made the most additions, and you're like, how do they keep getting guys? Like, well, they're just getting better and trying to go back to back, which is very clearly what they're trying to do. And I just go back to back, but they've got Shohei for the next 9 years. They've got Yamamoto for the next 11 years. They're going to have Sasaki for, I don't know how that works. I think it's the next 6 years at least. They have Blake for the next. So they're not trying to go back to back. They're trying to win as many as they can in that time frame. And then who knows what happens after that? But you gotta respect, like, hey, we're not just all in for this year. We're all in for the next whatever it is, like 9 years. I think Mookie has 7 more years on his deal. I don't know what Freddie's deal is. Like, they got those guys and they're gonna be there. And you gotta appreciate the fact, like, damn, that's cool, And but you'd like to see the other teams make the same additions, because you would think, okay, we got to catch this team. We need to go add. Well, the top team, they just added more pieces, and yeah, you'd hope that you got to catch them somehow.
Agreed. By the way, you almost said Chicago, and no, that was a bad choice. Teams that are going to be good, especially one on the south side. But I got to ask you about your other old team while we have, because the Cardinals used to try to play. They used to try to play in those waters, right? And did you ever think there would be a day where you heard the Cardinals say, we're not trying this year? Because they always have tried forever, as long as I can remember. And they kind of came out and said, we're not going to be that good this year, fans. So everyone clamor down. We're going to kind of reset for a year. That's crazy to me, because the Cardinals are the team that could go do it, I always feel like.
I mean, they can, and they tried. They go get Sonny last year, and is Wilson's second year, and Nolan struggled a little bit last year, but I've seen the way he's working and the way he's going about his business and the way Newbar, that those guys are going to turn around. It's weird to think about, of them being like, well, we're going to reset this year, and we're going to try to trade Nolan. Well, we haven't traded Nolan for, I don't know. It's like, we're going to reset, but we can't trade Nolan Arenado. And for teams to be like, no, we don't want Nolan Arenado, or whatever that situation is weird. Why you wouldn't want that guy who's working his tail off this entire offseason, is one of the best guys to have in a locker room. That's that place was great. I think that there's been interesting things going on since my last couple years there, and I got painted a certain way by in my time as I was leaving there. People were saying that I always wanted to leave, and I always wanted to go west, and yet I went and signed in Detroit last year. I didn't go there. I'm not going back to LA. Most like it can do the numbers, I can do the math. It doesn't bother me. I'm trying to go elsewhere and win and see if we can't beat those guys. Yeah, but it's weird because you know that those guys there want to win. I know Nolan wants to win. I know Mason Wynn wants to win. He's a gamer. He's going to compete every single time out. You know, Sonny wants to win and compete. Wilson wants to win. Like they're not really about those guys aren't about numbers. Like they want to win, and if they start winning, those numbers they're gonna produce. And you know, it's hard when you're not winning to it's a lot easier to stay locked in when you're winning than it is when you're not.
You know that. You talked about that.
Agreed. A
Yeah.
million percent.
You talked
way
about that a
better.
lot. Yeah.
Way better. Way easier to show up every day when you're like, oh, we're going to win today.
Right. When you're in a race.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
got a chance than
Yep.
it is being on a 100-loss team. That's awful.
Well, Jack, we're following the story. Obviously, we appreciate the hell out of you coming on after the tweet caught a lot of good attention in my mind because it's time for some other teams to wake the hell up. So thanks for joining us, dude. We'll have you back when you got the deal rolled out, when someone wakes up. Okay.
I appreciate it. You guys are great.
Someone
you're awesome,
sign
dude.
Jack Flaherty to a
Please.
big deal. Please.
He's
He deserves it.
29.
Come on. Somebody. I've been asking for it for 3 months now. Somebody
Yes.
do it.
Crazy.